Healthy Rebel Radio is sponsored by the Healthy Rebel app. 300 plus secretly healthy, delicious, mouth-watering dessert and treat recipes made with all-natural, whole food ingredients. Now available for download on the App Store and Google Play. Find out more details at healthyrebel.com.
Welcome to Healthy Rebel Radio. I'm your host, Dr. David Dyser. I'm here with my Damien Health Healthy Rebel co-founder, Amy Lane. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. I was reading this morning an article on Huffington Post that someone had written about living your best life and being happy and creating abundance in your life. And they were talking about the words that could potentially be the most restrictive for actually accomplishing your goals. And they were saying that the phrase, yeah, but. Yeah, but being the phrase that can be the most restrictive thing when you're trying to reach goals of abundance, happiness, health, that type of thing.
It's usually the rebuttal when you're trying to help someone out of their own negative way.
Exactly.
It's usually followed by, yeah, but.
Yeah, but. Yeah, these things all make sense, but here's the reason why.
Here's the barrier why I'm damned and can't. Life can't be good for me.
Here's my restriction.
Yeah.
I can relate to it in a major way because, I mean, I can speak for us both when I say that we're type A and we're quite rational. However, you are you have been a much more positive person than I have been in the past, I think.
I wouldn't tag it positive. I think I have a relentless hope or quality to
I
me.
like the word relentless for it because
I think that's more of my vibe.
You've really helped us push past things that have been seemingly negative, or
Definitely.
have been.
Oh my gosh, we've been through the ringer.
Or have been from a rational standpoint undoable.
Well, I mean, everything we've done isn't rational. Everything that's turned out to be wonderful in our life experience, it didn't make sense on paper per se. We had never seen it done. There was no format. There was no formula. It seemed it was one of those things that out of nothing and no way, almost everything. Plus, we had a lot of naysayers. I remember when we started our business, probably for 2 to 3 years in, people, especially in your family, would ask me every time they see me, so are you going to get a job, a real job? And I was like,
Yeah, because it's not something that
they had never seen it.
We hadn't even seen it done before.
But I had especially held that relentless dream for our vision. And that's something, I think in us loving each other, that's a gift that you've given me as well. Because I love you so much that I am willing to never let go of your dreams for you.
Wow, that's really nice. I love that.
Well, it's true.
That makes me feel really good.
It's true.
And for me, it's been that, well, it's this idea that, the restrictive thoughts that I was having or that we were having, they weren't real. They weren't based on, like, even though they seemed like to be the most rational thing.
Well, and they were, like, you could say they were more real than our vision. Because the reality is that was our past experiences. That's what we had always seen. Those barriers, like, you could tag that those are real because you've seen them. They're tangible. You can come up with examples of why we would fail. You can come up with examples of why this wouldn't work or why would you ever make that amount of money doing this thing.
And that's the exact point. So if you find yourself saying, yeah, but, or yeah, and so I can't do this because, or any phrase like that, really your brain is finding some sort of restrictive statement to try and hold you back. And that's to keep you safe, right? I mean, that's the idea.
It takes the same amount of energy to decide that something's going to happen or to decide why it's not going to happen. It's exactly the same amount of energy. And if you're stating all the reasons of why good can't happen or why this dream will never take place or all the barriers in your personal story, then that's going to be true for you. You're going to prove that true. Whatever you focus your energy on and you sincerely, consistently believe in and work towards, that's going to be your reality.
I agree wholeheartedly. I look at it as being the law of thought, or the law of where you put your attention.
Where you put your attention is where your thoughts go, where your thoughts lead to how you act, and your actions lead to your results.
You can't really argue with that.
It's a true formula. I think people forget that then the thoughts turn into their actions, because I think that people, a large amount of people, and we see it in our lives with people we know, they still think the world's happening to them. They don't understand the world is a pliable thing, and that what you're putting out is what you're getting back. They don't understand that there's a choice in what you pay attention to. Yes. There's a choice in what you breathe into. There's a choice of how you set up your environment. There's a choice how you conduct yourself in the world. And it's what you get back. It's your choice through your actions. It's not just a freak, weird, not make sense algorithm. Like, it's a real thing. It's tangible.
It is. Now, to be devil's advocate here, and some people may be thinking this, these choices aren't always easy. It's not easy to make the choice that goes against where your rational thought will be.
No one said that. No one said that. No one said change is easy. No one said having a great life is easy. No one said anything that's ever been good in life is easy. I don't even know an example. Everything there's gonna, and the higher the reward, the more the challenge there's gonna be.
Mentally, for sure.
Especially mentally, and sometimes physically. Like, we went through physically, mentally, emotionally, all kinds of restrictions to get to our place where we wanted to be. Mm-hmm. That's the truth. And I think sometimes, especially we talk about with the millennials, this is kind of lost on them. That, like, positive thinking, positive actions, all that is wonderful, but then there's still hard work.
Definitely.
The challenge is still
things
there.
To go through. So yeah, you can restrict yourself consciously and not.
Well, I mean, the other thing you can get caught into is, okay, I believe this, and I'm going to do the positive thoughts, and I'm going to do the positive actions, and then you go and you buy milk, and someone's really rude to you. And you're like, well, this doesn't work, because if I'm so positive, why would this person be such a jerk to me? Or why would I be restricted? Or why am I not making as much money as I want to manifest today? Why isn't my business where I want it to be today? I mean, it's not a dictatorship. And things aren't, for some people it does happen overnight.
Yeah, definitely.
But
everyone's experience is a little different.
But for other people there's hard work and consistency. And with us, we've climbed a ladder in all areas. So if we're talking about business, relationship, or just our own personal state of happiness, it's all been work.
And through that work, I think it's been, and I think this is really important for everyone, when you have these thoughts that may be restrictive, you discuss it with someone who's actually on your side, who's supportive of your goals. Mm-hmm. So what we've done is that when we've had these restrictive thoughts, or we've thought, like, this is not something we can do, we have discussions about it and carved out a path to make it work. And when you have two minds going forward in the same direction, it's a lot easier than with one.
Definitely. And they've talked about that for ages, back to all these great writers that we've read to. It's called a mastermind. And
exactly.
It can be either a group of people, or it can just be you and another. And it doesn't have to be someone you're in a romantic relationship with, and it doesn't have to be, it can be just someone that you both have a vision and you decide to hold each other in the highest light possible and see those visions through. With us, we've learned the lesson that we keep a lot of things private. A lot of things we're developing, a lot of things we have on the go, we keep a lot private and behind the scenes, because we've learned through past mistakes of sometimes we've let our dreams out too early. And sometimes the feedback that you get from even people that love you are so full of negativity and fear, usually coming from a place of love. They're trying to protect you for not getting too big of a head, or not getting ahead of yourself, or not having your dreams tarnished. Or sometimes it's from, they don't want you to make them feel bad about themselves. Sometimes reaching your dreams makes others feel less than. So we've learned through past experiences of other people throwing just bad energy onto things that were so precious to us. We no longer, we do things quietly now.
We keep it within the mastermind. And I think that's a really important thing about your mastermind, or your group of supportive, like-minded individuals. Then you're avoiding, now you've solved the yeah but in your own mind. By creating your mastermind, you've solved the yeah but from everyone else.
100%.
And it's so important.
Because energies and thoughts can creep in so many ways. And you don't want anybody putting negative energy towards something that's precious to you.
Agreed.
So being protective of it until it's time to release it, or it's time that it manifests, or, you're in an unshakable place where the comments wouldn't matter. I highly suggest keeping, what you're working towards, whether it be like an actual thing or just like your own personal peace and happiness, or I suggest keeping it private within whoever your group is.
Definitely. Now, when I see stories like this and I hear about the negative thinking, or if it comes up in my own mind, the first thing that comes to the forefront of my thought is the Four Agreements. The Four Agreements is a book by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's been out for a long time. It's a hugely successful book, but it's extremely powerful, although being still very simple. So when I think about this, I not only go back to the core of my change in thought, which had to do with Tony Robbins' lectures and thinking, but also really the first book I read on spirituality, which would be the Four Agreements. And the first agreement being something that you harped on in our life, and I think that you're still quite passionate about it with yourself, is be impeccable with your word.
Yes, I am. I try.
Can you explain a bit about what be impeccable with your word really means to you and how it's helped us progress?
It's really important within our, whatever you want to call it, our partnership, that we keep our word impeccable. So we don't go against our highest selves. We don't say things that are limiting.
That's the exact point right there. And that's extremely powerful. It's very easy to slip into a place where you just make comments that are limiting. And they
100%.
They seem like nothing at the time. While you're saying them, they don't seem very powerful. They don't seem like anything. It's just, oh, well, you know what? This is this and this is this, or this is that. But it is quite powerful because you're putting energy towards something that, although it doesn't seem huge at the moment, it can build.
It's an energetic limitation. So why set it?
Right.
Why set it? You're setting a barrier, no matter if it's something you just stub your toe on or something that's going to physically hold you back. You're setting a barrier. And you and I are really clear on both. I think we hold each other accountable pretty well.
We have. I mean, one of your biggest attributes and one thing you're very passionate about is integrity. And this is a form of speaking with integrity about yourself and how kind and self-loving that can be.
With yourself and other people. Something I learned in my life, being, envious or jealous of other people is only saying that what you're seeing them have or do, you don't want for yourself. So there's ways, you and I will have discussions in business when we think something's like, not ethical or something bothers me, or I feel like someone's, paying their way to the top or whatever. We'll have discussions about it. There's a way, you don't just turn your mind off. You can still discuss things. But there's a difference between thinking, oh, well, this person doesn't deserve that. Why is life happening so easily for her? Why is she making easily so much money? When I find myself in those thoughts, what I'm saying is, I don't deserve to make money easily. Or I don't deserve to make that kind of money. Or I don't deserve ease in my life. And how insane is that?
Exactly.
It's insane.
No, you're saying absolutely.
But you're putting
right
it,
on.
You're putting it in another person and thinking that they're separate from you, when in reality we're all one, and that person is a reflection of you and your feelings about yourself.
That's really powerful to remember. It's
powerful.
the remembering, because it's so easy to get caught up in someone else's story and to think or say things that aren't really reflective of how you feel. It's just you can get in a position where that's a reflection of yourself. 100%. I love that. So understanding the oneness of everything and keeping your thought in line with that.
And wanting the best for everybody.
Right. Because when you do want the best for everyone, it's not like you're taking away from yourself. You're really adding to yourself because you're adding that positivity. You're adding that energy, that good flow. 100%.
And we all get really caught up in, and we're taught from a young age, there's only so much to go around. And that the most successful people are the people that just stomp all over the little people and get to the top, and everyone suffers, and there's one person at the top of the mountain. And, we see that when we look at the financial world. When we look at that, there's one guy that has as much money as the rest of the world. I mean, that's insane. But the reality is there's enough room for everybody. We can all be successful. If we all do and work from our actual truth and our authenticity, there's enough room for everybody. It's like, looking at sand on the beach. There's a million different ways, like, in, you know what I mean? Like, we're
Definitely.
all different, and we're all here to bring our unique talent to the world, and if we all were, you know, from that authentic place and all wished each other well, you know, we could all prosper more easily.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, it's hard. Believe me. Like, I slip into it. You know, I see someone doing something unethical. I see someone, you know, whatever, and then them profiting off it, and it bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
But working that out and not getting into those lower, really easy things that you can say about people or think about people. You know, you can talk about the unjust things you see in the world without ripping or tearing other people down.
Definitely. And this leads into the second two agreements, agreement number 2 and agreement number 3, which are don't take anything personally and don't make assumptions.
Don't take anything personally has been, I mean, it's still something, I've come a million miles with this. Yes. I used to take everything personally until and I've talked about this many times before, until you really come to the realization and you surrender to the fact that everybody's just shadowboxing their own selves. There's no one that can really state anything. And that's the same as, like, you can't get too high on compliments either.
It's true.
If you take compliments super, super, super seriously, then you're going to take negative just as seriously.
For sure. I love the shadow boxing example because it's so true. Yeah. For both sides, positive and negative.
Yes.
It's not, you know, it's a reflection of someone else's position. And this can happen...
Their perception. It's like what I said. They're wearing sunglasses, and their sunglasses have a pink hue to them, and they say, my gosh, look at this beautiful pink sky, and you're like, wait a second, the sky is blue.
Right. Well, I like to keep this same thought and this same perspective about our own thoughts, because our own thoughts are based on the experiences we've been through, and if you can't learn to begin to navigate around these thoughts and understand what is, you know, helpful for the progression. This is like the same thing as being impeccable with your word. Mm-hmm. These thoughts that you're having, don't take them personally because they're just a reflection of what you've been through. So step back and speak with integrity. You know, respect your word, but don't take where you're putting yourself personally. If you have a negative thought, okay, allow it to come in. You know,
but like a rolling cloud.
Exactly, allow it to come in and then see it pass by. It's a really helpful starting place for that.
We should link the article I wrote this week about opinions as well.
Okay,
that's a really good... I really break down in there of why people's opinions really have nothing to do with you. Mm-hmm. So this is the whole thing about not taking anything personally. I break it down in there because it's not you. Definitely. It really has nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
It really doesn't.
Well, and you can't make assumptions. Agreement number 3. You can't assume anything about these thoughts that you're having or that other people are having because you have to stay centered. For
me, I take that more as a literal about making assumptions. That, you know, the most trouble I've ever seen in my life is when people don't clearly communicate and individuals just make assumptions. It's caused just hornet's nests of messes of relationships, and it's one of my biggest pet peeves. I just don't understand why people just don't honestly communicate. And we've seen it. We've seen relationships just completely deteriorate because of years of not proper communication. And then just each individual takes assumptions, oh, they're acting like this because of this. And both just pervert the truth, and they end up in this just absolute nightmare that neither side is true, and then they can't stand each other. Mm-hmm. So I take that very literally.
No, I love the literal aspect of that. Mm-hmm. I think it's really powerful. Definitely. Mm-hmm. I mean, communication opens up that freedom, really, to be centered because you have things clearly stated in what your intention or what you understand someone else's intention and their position.
And sometimes if you're an honest person, I mean, it took me so many years to adjust because I didn't understand that people don't honestly communicate. Mm-hmm. So people would have really strange reactions. You can see. You've witnessed my struggles. I have. Because I'm such an honest communicator that people would either get offended or just be uncomfortable or just because... And what I didn't realize is many people in the world aren't communicating honestly. And I sincerely had no idea. Mm-hmm. I thought everyone just kind of said the truth.
For sure, you've always been from that position because, you know, your integrity is
I don't know if it's that or if there's something wrong with me, but I mean, you know, there could be something a little off there because I do have a problem.
It's so funny because I remember, 10 years ago, thinking like, oh wow, she really thinks that everyone is thinking in this same way.
I really did.
Or everyone is communicating everything they're actually feeling.
I really did.
Isn't it nice to be naive?
Oh, I missed it a little. But at the same time, it caused me a lot of problems because I would get defensive. Like, I don't get it. Why are you upset? This is exactly how I feel. This is exactly what happened.
I'm speaking the truth. This is...
I'm giving us a chance to... Now, how do you feel? Right. People,
Yeah.
It's just so funny.
Yeah. Now, I think this is also... So that's one application of it. But I think there's an application of this to use personally.
Oh, for sure.
When you have thoughts like that are restrictive thoughts, talking about the yeah, but situation again, when you go through something that's extremely restrictive, you're assuming that you're correct. You're assuming that your restrictive thought is true based on your experiences, when I've learned that my restrictive thoughts have often not been true, and I don't know what that says about me. But
I think that's true for all of us.
Right. I mean, I've been through it multiple times thinking that, I can't do something because of this. Or I can't be something because, I haven't trained for it. I haven't been this or that. Or
this box isn't checked. This box isn't checked. This box isn't checked. That's been your biggest thing.
Huge about
You're like, well, there's no way. So you set up a barrier.
I need to do 10 steps before I move on to this. When really that barrier was a false imaginative thing. And I think people deal with this. This isn't just about career. This can be about relationships.
Well, we laugh so hard when we look back to about 9 years ago how we were living, and we will act like, why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? Why did we think we couldn't travel? Why did we think that we couldn't? Why were we doing this? And we laughed so hard, but we thought that those restrictions we had put on ourselves, we thought it was real.
Yeah.
And we didn't question it.
We just assumed, we're definitely right.
I mean, we this is a reality. This is why it's reality. And then we just really went with it. we kept ourselves in this little cage of weirdness, really, when you think about it. So restrictive. It's sad. We lost, a beautiful year of our life.
Yeah, that's so true.
And that's motivation to not do it again.
Exactly. You learn from that, and that takes you to a new place, really. You stop assuming that you know everything about life.
You realize you know nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's powerful, too.
It is powerful.
That's powerful. The final agreement, and this one is quite broad, but I think it's powerful to review for everyone. It's just always do your best.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's simple, but sometimes we forget that all we can do is our absolute best in every situation. I think it brings it back to the communication point you're making. If you're communicating your feelings, to yourself, to others in every situation, career, relationships, academically, it doesn't matter. You're doing your best.
This really brings up for me when you see someone doing, say, like what would be considered like a mundane job, but they have aspirations for doing something else. But you can see a person that's just, what comes off, say, as a store clerk, that's just so rude. They just think they're better than where they are. They obviously don't want to be there, but we all need a paycheck, and they're just putting it in. And you feel that energy from them where you almost feel like they're a jerk. And then you see the other person that perhaps this is a stepping stone or a necessity for them, but they are doing an amazing job at a mundane task. And you're like, wow. And you admire that person. And you don't think anything about, anything but that. There's just multiple layers to that. First of all, doing your best. Every job, everything that you're going into, everything you do on a daily basis, you should be thinking of serving another person. And whether it's just serving their happiness or if you're physically serving coffee, make it the best interaction of that person's day. Even if that person's a jerk. Just spill kindness and professionalism into whatever you do. The other thing to that is, first of all, that makes you stand out. And that's going to get you to where you're going 10 times faster. Being, a professional, just doing your best at there's no shame in doing any job if you're doing your best.
Oh, I agree.
I believe that from the bottom of my heart.
Definitely. And then on the personal side, you're taking steps to avoid self-abuse, regret.
Regret is the biggest one for me. Like we discussed yesterday, the easiest way for me to sleep at night is to know I did my best. And that doesn't mean that I, signed $1,000 checks and all these deals rolled in and whatever. It means every single thing I did, I was attentive, I was present, and I did my best.
Yes.
No matter what those things are.
It's a self-love action. It's promoting, a kindness to your own self.
And service and love to the world. Mm-hmm. We're all here to help each other. Yeah. On whatever level you're doing that. And, a spiritual advisor is doing just as much spiritual work as the Starbucks barista. Believe it or not. We're all equal. Yeah. And we're all there to help each other and make each other feel good and help each other along the path. Mm-hmm. So I think that, doing your best in wherever you are, with whatever you are, including your thoughts, your actions, within your job, within your home,
it's healing.
With your partner, it also makes your life just so much better when you just do your best. And sometimes your best is 40%.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's okay too.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely okay.
I have women email me all the time on the program that they'll say, I'm sick and I'm just laying in bed just anxious because I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. No. Take a deep breath. Today you're honoring your body in healing, and you're going to lay and you're going to relax and you're going to do some things that feel good, read some things, drink water, and that's your best for today. Mm-hmm. That's 100% okay.
It lifts self-judgment. What you're explaining is this.
Well, and we waste so much time in that internal struggle. Mm-hmm. You're going to be sicker longer if you're sitting in bed just beating the crap out of yourself. You're not going to enjoy that break from the world. I mean, let's face it, as adults, we don't get days to lay in bed feeling good or bad, right? So being present to whatever is your best of the day, it's just, it alleviates all that other stuff, and you can be present and you can feel good.
So true. I love it.
Me too.
If you haven't read The Four Agreements, it's a great book to read.
You love it.
Oh yeah, you can read it in a day. It's very easy read, and it's very simple, and it's a nice introduction to, if you're experiencing low mood, self-criticism, a lot of self-judgment, regrets, those types of things. Mm-hmm. If you're looking to raise your mood or get started on the path of spirituality or
some guiding
thinking,
poles.
Oh, it's so nice. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. But really, what I wanted to focus on today, and I think we covered it quite well, is that statement. Yeah, but being extremely restrictive and not helpful for moving forward. And these are just simple ways to recenter yourself. And I think you explained it really well.
And to be attentive of it when you're doing it.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. Definitely. That's Healthy Rebel Radio. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.
See you.
Healthy Rebel Radio is presented by the online health and wellness center, DamieHealth.com. Since 2009, Amy Lane has successfully coached thousands of women through her signature program, the Bikini Body Program. Join today to work exclusively with Amy to unveil your greatest yet to be from the inside out. Go to DamieHealth.com for more information.
Thank you for listening to Healthy Rebel Radio. Please connect with us on our community pages on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, all at the handle @DamieHealth. For weekly recipes, articles, and all our episodes straight to your inbox, join our newsletter at DamieHealth.com. You can find all the links discussed in today's episode in the show notes. Thank you for joining us, and see you tomorrow.